Ever heard term like 99% uptime or performance benchmark under 2 seconds? Hello and welcome everyone to this video. In today's video, we'll learn about SLA and performance benchmarks, which are very two important concepts as a QA tester, whether you are a developer or a DevOps. This is very important for interview perspective as well as if you are working for any company and if you want to understand performance testing. This is the very basic concept which you need to learn basically so that you can be a good performance tester. So let's not waste our time and let's deep dive into the topic. So what is an SLA? SLA is basically a service level agreement, is a formal contract between a service provider and a client that defines the level of service expected. Okay, it's basically a typical classic definition. Forget everything. Let's just understand SLA in very simple words. Don't go with the definition or anything written. So for example, imagine you are a startup founder. You and me, we created a company. Okay, this is our company A. We have created a company, and for the company we have to create a website a.com. Okay, we want to create a website a.com. So to create a website, I hope you all know that to create a website you need a hosting platform to host this website, basically a server, right? So what do? You go to GoDaddy, right? You go to GoDaddy and you tell GoDaddy that okay, give me a hosting platform or give me a hosting service or a server where I can host my website and display it to the entire world. GoDaddy says okay, no problem, I will give you a server, basically a hosting server where you can host your website. Now in this entire concept, can you just imagine what will happen if GoDaddy server goes down? Do you think your website will be up? Never. Your website will never be up. So if GoDaddy server goes down, your website also goes down, right? So now I hope you're understanding how crucial is for GoDaddy that their server is always up and it doesn't go down, because GoDaddy doesn't host only your or my website, it hosts thousand millions of websites in the world, right? So they have to make sure that their servers are up and it doesn't go down, because it will impact the different business users, right? Okay, so here comes the term service level agreement. So now what is service level agreement? Basically you can understand it as a legal agreement. It's a legal agreement, very important. Okay, it's a legal agreement which is done between this particular company a.com and GoDaddy, and it says that okay, 99% or 99.5% of the time I will have uptime, and 0.5% or 0.05% can be taken as buffer where GoDaddy servers can go down or could not respond. So this number basically depend on the agreement between you and GoDaddy, whatever you both mutually decide. But there should be a number and there should be an agreement between them that okay, I need to have 99.5% uptime and the server should not go down. What if it goes down? If it goes down, there are penalty clauses. And I hope you understand why there should be a penalty clause. Because if the server goes down, the business of a.com is affected, the customers will be dropped, right? So there is a loss for a.com and that loss is due to GoDaddy. So obviously GoDaddy will have to cover those losses. All right, so this is how it works. So that agreement can have multiple clauses like uptime availability. It can be 99.9% uptime. Response time, API will respond under 2 seconds, that GoDaddy should respond under 2 seconds. There can be a clause like this. If it doesn't follow, then there may be some penalty clauses. Issue resolution time, if in case some issue is coming, some bug is there, then it should be fixed within 2 hours. It should be mandatory. And throughput or transaction limit. So GoDaddy offers, or any other company will offer some transaction limit that this many times you can hit our API and we will give you the right result, right? So this is what entire service level agreement is, which should be done before, and let's try to understand performance benchmark first, then I'll come back again so that we can have a better understanding or a better overview. Okay, so what is performance benchmark? A benchmark is a performance standard or baseline. It is used to compare current test result with previous or industry standard. So basically it's not a very big deal, it's a very simple thing. Okay, unlike service level agreement, basically, performance benchmark, these are not legal, these are not legal agreement. Okay, SLAs are legal agreement, performance benchmark are not legal agreement, because it is just a benchmarking. For example, you work for GoDaddy, okay, you have an API which give the response in, let's say, 2.2 second. Okay, now there are some developers, there are some testers. Some developer will come and he will optimize this API, and after optimization, now this API can give the response in, for example, let's say 1.7 seconds. So earlier, what was our benchmark? It was 2.2 second. Now what is the new benchmark? It's 1.7 second. So after many changes, so even after more developer changes, the benchmark should not be beaten. If it is 1.7 second, the new benchmark should be less than 1.7 second, for example 1.2 second. All right, it should not be more than 1.7 seconds. So this is what benchmarking exactly means. Okay, you are benchmarking your progress, just like in gym or probably anywhere you benchmark your standards. Just like in software, you benchmark your time, you benchmark your response uptime and everything. So this is what performance benchmark is. So now if you come back and if you see SLA and performance benchmark, they are however very similar, but it's a slight difference that SLA are legal agreement which is done between two different parties, and performance benchmark is basically your API which you are improving, and you are expecting that the new benchmark is greater or it's higher, right? So this is what performance benchmark and SLA is. I hope I have made it clear. If you have any doubts, you can come down in the comment section and comment. We'll see you in the next video where we will compare JMeter, K6 and other performance testing tool, and eventually in this entire series we will be learning all of these tools. So I hope you have liked this video. If you have, do consider subscribing or liking, whatever you feel like. Bye bye, take care.